Welcome to I Heart Geek.
And welcome to another episode of I Heart Geek, another Loki episode. We are on episode 4. There's only 2 episodes left, and this makes me sad.
No!
So many things to talk about this episode. First off, I'm Dub. I'm here with Courtney. I'm here with Satomi. I'm here with Blythe, and I'm here with Michelle. And this cast just freaking rocks. I'm going to try to be keeping up with them because I have a feeling they got. I think a lot of this cast got inspired by last week because they predicted some stuff. So I think they're not going to stop talking today. I think that's going to happen a little bit.
Gloating.
So first off, I do want to, we had a couple of questions and we're going to answer these with real quick. So let's see, we had a question from our buddy, the Green Korean, who's been on the show a couple of times. Awesome dude. Even though this might not, when he asked the question, this made sense. Do you think the TVA has a tracking device hidden in the variant jacket? It would explain why he changed back into it and why they were able to trace him. Unfortunately, that one didn't stick, but I wish he would have been wearing it because I would have loved to have kept discussing that one. So close. I actually, when he said that, I thought he was onto something, and that's why I left it in.
I mean, it definitely makes sense.
It would, wouldn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
We were all wondering how they were going to find him.
The second question was, and we discussed this in episode 2, is it possible that this is the Enchantress, and where is Loki's frost giant strength? Again, we've discussed these a few times, and I think the panel is still out whether girl Loki is Enchantress or actually I have to say that Sylvie is Enchantress or not.
Yeah, I'm still on the fence whether she's actually Lady Loki or not, but we can talk about that later.
Yeah, I'm not convinced enough either way to argue it.
Yeah.
And then the Loki wears his frost giant strength. I'm going to say this, and if you guys want to add on to this, we don't know that the frost giants are really any stronger than the Asgardians because he's not going to beat Thor in a fight, but he can keep up. So who's to say he doesn't have a frost giant strength? Because we saw Thor take out a bunch of frost giants in a punch. So
and we rarely see Loki's frost giant powers anyways.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've only seen them in like 2 movies,
and that was very brief at that.
Yeah, it's mostly he turned blue. So
And Dub, you might know this. We know that his father is Loki, the king of the frost giants. Do we know who his mother is? He's not a full frost giant, right?
No, he's half frost giant. That's why he was so small.
So I mean, that could.
But I don't know who the mother was, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean that could make sense as to why he doesn't have a frost giant strength.
Or maybe that's why he doesn't stay blue.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you guys for the questions. If you guys want to throw in questions on these, again, you only have 2 episodes left to do it. But yeah, we love answering this kind of stuff. And I think we're all on the same page now. Now, as always, spoiler alert. If you have not watched Loki episode 4, turn this off, save it. And you still want to give us a thumbs up and all that, but save it, go watch Loki episode 4, and then come back. I'm actually, before we start, I don't know if anybody else has, but up to episode 3, people were starting to stop watching it. There's like 10 different people on my timeline said, I'm done. I can't follow this anymore. I'm like, go back and listen to our show and you'll understand it. But, and that's
it is a pretty tenderly mystery. I will, but if you hang in there, and if you listen to us, we'll keep you on track.
And as egotistical as that sounds, or even any YouTube show, I mean, you've got to. This isn't a show that you just know the answers to, especially if you're not like steeped in the mythology of it. And let's be honest, I don't understand it all. Courtney doesn't understand it all. Blythe thinks he understands it all, but he doesn't.
I do.
But with that being said, definitely, that's what I'm loving about these Disney Plus shows. They are for the community. It's great to be able to talk about these things, and it helps a lot with these. I mean, even go back to WandaVision and even little stuff in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. talk to people on it. So I'm hoping that everybody keeps giving it a chance, especially after this episode, because it was freaking phenomenal. Did anybody's stomach turn before they watched the end credit at the end of this episode?
No.
No,
Not-
We're starting at the end
I-
credits.
no, I just had to say this real quick.
happening.
I
Not at the-
predicted it.
No,
Yeah.
no. I don't want to talk about
Not
it right
at the part. Not at the part where you think. But
Right.
and I'm not saying what part, but there was part where I actually, because I had my phone in my hand because I was texting, I think you guys, and I was watching, and there was one part at the end where I literally dropped my phone in shock, but it's not the part you think.
Well,
Not the part you're alluding to right
we
now.
will get to it when we get to it. Okay, so as always, we go through the scene by scene. Scene 1 is Asgard. This is like a 45-second scene. Sylvie is taken by the TVA as a very young child, and it was kind of heartbreaking.
Mhm.
Just fantastic scene altogether. But the question is, she was sitting there playing with her toys. What did she possibly do that made her a variant at that point? And that this is the mystery that we're going to hit. Is there?
I have thoughts, but go ahead.
I
Fire
do
away.
too, actually.
Let's start actually with Satomi real quick, and then we'll go to
Yeah,
Courtney.
get it to them.
So when she's playing with her toys, she says something about getting Asgard is saved from the dragon. I believe, I don't remember who she said saved
The
Asgard.
Valkyrie.
The Valkyrie.
Valkyrie.
So I was wondering if that was alluding to the other Asgardian Armageddon that we saw in Ragnarok, and that Sylvie is actually Loki's daughter playing with those toys, and that her quote unquote sin is existing because Loki is not supposed to have offspring.
That's an interesting thought.
And maybe she wasn't on their radar because that's so not part. I don't know.
No,
Maybe it just didn't
I see what you're
kick
saying.
it until then.
Yeah.
That was just that's a thought. My uneducated.
Courtney, go ahead.
Mine's almost exactly the same.
Okay, cool.
Because I think her biggest we talked a little bit about it, but the Nexus event is what supposedly put her on the map of the TVA and had to go get it. So either it's being born in general or was being adopted by the royal house of Asgard. Because like I said, I'm still not 100% convinced she's Lady Loki.
And we will there's stuff I want to hit on this, but let's wait until closer to the end when we hit all that. Anybody else have anything before we move on to the gold elevators?
Yeah.
The only thing. Go on.
Nope. So I thought that it was something along the lines of Loki being a female, but it was weird to me that why that point in time? If the whole problem was her being a female Loki, why not when she was conceived or when she was born? If they're able to see all fabrics of time, then they should have been able to nip it right when she was born. I was thinking that it's maybe in that moment she decided that she didn't want to be a Loki and she wanted to be a Valkyrie. That decision of becoming a Valkyrie would set off a chain of events that would branch the timeline and do what she did. But
An interesting thought. Michelle, what'd you have on that?
Kind of we're like doing weird
Everybody's
things
doing
today.
that. Okay.
Kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
So
I think we're all variants of each other. Nice. Gotcha.
My thought was if she's a Loki, that her kind of the same thing. If her deciding to be more of the hero than the mischievous trickster kind of person, which would go against that Loki behavior. That's assuming she is a Loki, but again on the fence. So yeah, it's kind of the exact same concept.
Yeah, I'm actually starting to lose my. I think she is a Loki. I think she's going to use the Enchantress as a non de plume, but I think she is a Loki, and we'll get into that
think
at the
we
very
talked
end,
about
actually.
it. We talked about it a little bit last episode. I think this is the MCU's origin story of
Yeah.
the Enchantress. I think she is a Loki, but she also is going to be the
Yeah.
Enchantress.
So I think this is a stop. We're all right on this one, to be honest
Yeah,
with you.
exactly.
What threw me though is that she had dark hair, and I'm like, wait, that's Sylvie. So I don't know when she got her hair lightened in the timeline, but
I
she
mean,
went,
girl,
she went through a lemon
that
field.
it doesn't have to be natural, okay?
When she went to Pompeii, she went and got her hair did before
Yeah.
Because why
it
not?
disrupted.
if you're there,
Sometimes
Why
you
not?
need a change.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this comes from the girl with red hair. From the brunette with
Only on
red
the
hair.
end. Only on the end.
Yeah, only on the end.
Good talk.
Okay.
And go.
Scene 2, we have the gold elevators. We finally see the timekeepers. That's pretty much it. Now
Well, we sort of see the time.
We
sort
didn't
of.
see the timekeepers.
Now
we,
I will say this, Ravonna, what we find out later, okay, spoiler, she looks genuinely scared. She is definitely, because what we find out later when she's
Don't jump ahead.
okay, I'll get to it. Dang it.
Get mad at us when we do it. I'm gonna call you out on it.
I do have to say this one thing. The Guardians look like the timekeepers.
We don't see what they look like yet, though. All we saw them as a silhouette.
it was just the
Okay.
And the eyes.
Okay, we'll move on.
With
There's
the
nothing.
mist.
There is nothing to this scene to discuss. Okay, scene 3.
not really.
Let's see. Ravonna and Mobius, they come up to the realization that they killed Agent C-20.
I don't think they killed her.
No.
I think
she's alive.
Okay.
I think
No.
she's being held. For
That's what's implied anyway.
questioning. Yes,
Well,
but we never
yeah.
see it happen.
True.
Mhm.
Yeah. And the implication is that that Sylvie killed her.
Yeah.
But I mean, whether she's alive or not, if she's killed by Ravonna and the TVA, she has to tell Mobius that Sylvie killed her in order to keep Mobius still in line with the TVA party line. If she's still alive, it's the same reason that Ravonna tells.
Yeah.
One is to make him angry.
To make him angry at Loki. Yeah.
Yeah, so he doesn't, she's trying to make him angry so that anger will not have him question, well, maybe the Lokis aren't the bad guys in this situation, because he feels anger for his friend being supposedly killed by one of them. So I mean, it's like it's a manipulation on Ravonna's part.
Yeah.
It don't work, but
this definitely plants the seed for everything with Mobius. This is important that this happened, because I think if she would have made up a different lie, I think we'd be watching a chain of events that would come down on that.
But you guys think there's a possibility that C-20 is actually alive? I mean, because if she's dead,
I do.
Okay, if she's dead, I shouldn't say obviously. In my head, obviously they killed her. The TVA did,
Yeah.
or somebody did to get rid of her, so she wasn't yapping.
Well, so
I think Ravonna did it. I think she's dead too.
but I could be wrong.
This is an important
I think
question
she's
with
alive.
Ravonna. This is an important question. So does she know that they're all clones then? Because if she's getting rid of her because she knows the truth, that means she's trying to stop the truth. And that means she knows the truth.
I think she knows.
You mean that
Yeah,
they're
I
all
think she
variants?
That they're all
But
variants.
they're all variants. Yeah.
I don't think Ravonna's a variant, so I think she's like the one who knows that everybody else is.
Mm-hmm.
Well, with her boyfriend,
But-
I'm just saying.
I do think that C-20 is alive personally, just because as we go through, even the disintegration. Yeah.
Nobody really disappears.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what they're implying as we go. We can get into it later, but it's just,
Yeah.
I think
I
they
have mixed feelings
displaced
on that
them
as well. Yeah.
versus destroying them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, up to scene 4, Lamentus 1. Yay, I love the purple planet.
It looks like Morag.
Yeah. and I'm gonna say this, and y'all can enjoy. I was wrong about the Loki with the broken TemPad. Yay. Okay, because
Dude, I was there with you. I was there with you.
I thought I think it's more interesting if he didn't, but I don't think that. I think that's where the story was.
At least you admit it.
It happens.
I
Yeah.
know.
It makes sense for his character.
It
for
definitely does.
I think we all are expecting that
Yeah.
to show up at some point, unbroken.
Yeah, I think it's interesting how calm they both look when they're facing certain death, both Sylvie and Loki.
I
There's
think it's numb.
It's like, hey, and they're kind of joking around and still flirting a little bit.
I think at that point, though, you've just accepted what's going to happen. There seems to be, when you hit that acceptance, there's like a calm. And I think because they're together, there's a connection there, and which obviously we're going to see here in a second. But I think it was just that, like, we've accepted it.
Mm-hmm.
It's happening. What are you going to do? Freak out? Like, there's nothing you can do.
Fair enough.
And think of how many times, I mean, we can assume on Sylvie's part, but with Loki, we know how many times has he faced certain death. I mean, this is just another walk in the park. And I mean, this Loki may not have experienced the stuff that the Loki we know in the films do, but he sees it at the beginning of episode 1. So like, he knows how many times he's faced certain death and died. And we can only assume that Sylvie, jumping from apocalypse to apocalypse, has faced certain death as well. So I think it's more of what everybody's saying. It's like, meh, here we go again. I'm gonna die.
Okay.
He even says it. He even says we faced it. Oh, I mean, he even verbalizes it. Now you mentioned, Dub, you said they're still flirting. I did not get any sexual tension off of them whatsoever. I got caring.
Yeah.
I got actually caring about, I got connection and caring about another human being, but I did not get any sexual tension off of that at all, which also goes back to why I think that she's his daughter.
Okay. So now with that being said, this is when the next Nexus variation happens. And it happens as soon as Sylvie touches Loki. I think that the real variation that we're dealing with from the beginning is when two Lokis, let's say there's no love, let's say that they care for each other, that causes a variation, a big one. And I think that's why all the variants of Loki.
Event?
Yes. What did I say?
Variant. I just put Nexus event because we talk about Nexus a lot.
Yeah. So I think that that's what's causing it all, is when Lokis find each other and they care for each other or love each other or whatever it is. I think it changes everything. And then he's not just a god of mischief, but he's something special and something different that King doesn't want to happen. I mean, not King. I didn't say that. Yes, I did. So what do you guys think is the variation or the Nexus event when they touch?
Well, first of all, for us, non-comic people, what would you, I know they threw around the term Nexus event. What would you define as a Nexus event? Because the layperson still doesn't really understand what the Nexus is.
I'll put it in Doctor Who terms. It's a fixed point in time.
Okay, cool.
Make it a little easier.
In the comic book world, the Nexus, and we've talked a little bit about this in WandaVision, but in the comic book world, the Nexus is essentially like a Big Bang. And it, in one variation of the comic book realm, it's what gave mutants their power. In the terms of this, every time they reference, anytime the timeline branches off like it's not supposed to, that's defined by the TVA as a Nexus event. So
because
that's the way
it's creating a new universe. It's essentially its own Big Bang.
Yeah, which is fixed point in time. That changes you from the 616 universe into the Ultimates universe, which we've talked about before. If you could kind of grasp that, it changes it so that you know, in the DC universe, so that you can have Black Superman or Superman that was the president, because it's a fixed point, and that's the point that changes.
Or Pig Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Spider Pig, the greatest
Spider Pig,
hero
baby.
of our time. Yeah.
Well, and then and the
Spider-Pig.
point the point that they're talking about where they say, you know, he asked, have you ever seen a branch like this? And she said, or help me, B15
Ravonna?
says, no, I've never seen a branch like this. So to me, that just shows that the connection between the fact that they're two Lokis, two variants, I don't know, is so powerful.
Yeah.
I think honestly, even if, well, maybe, I wonder if it's as powerful even if they don't have affection or caring for each other, or if that just takes it to a next level. Because later on in the show, my brain kind of was like, okay, hold on. If there's this strong connection between two Lokis that care for each other,
yeah,
that's my question. Is it just that they're Lokis, or is it the caring?
Well, not jumping ahead, but I think the ending is answering your question.
I know, and that's what I'm. Well,
yeah.
Okay, and that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Well, also, I mean, it would track with the Marvel universe and the Marvel messaging.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of messaging throughout the MCU about the power of love. And I think that we are Anna and Elsing this at this point in time, is that, you know, it's about the bond, because Loki historically doesn't give a hoo-hoo about anyone, but unless it serves his own purposes. And at this point, we actually see a bond where he would actually be willing to sacrifice, which means it changes him, like you were saying, Dub, it changes him on a, you can say a molecular level, or on a foundational level.
Yeah.
It changes who
the core
Loki
of who he is.
Yeah.
The
core
that's
of who
awesome.
he is.
Yeah. And I would like to piggyback on that for a second, because I about the MCU with love, especially these three shows have very much the theme of the exploration of love and the nature of love has been very prevalent. Because I mean, we got WandaVision is all about the love of Wanda and Vision, and I mean, we get the great line, what is
love
if
not grief persevering. Then we have
grief but not love persevering.
Love persevering. And then in Falcon and Winter Soldier, while on the surface it's this great military intrigue kind of thing, we still have the nature of love and family and connection. You know, you have the connection of Bucky to Sam, and then Sam to his family, and Bucky to Sam's family. So there's that. And then in this one, we get love is a dagger.
Yeah. I thought love was a battlefield. Go ahead.
Only to Pat Benatar.
Bad joke. I'm sorry.
So it's this. It'll be interesting to see if it carries on through the other shows as well. And I mean, I mentioned it to Dub once, and he said, "Wouldn't that be just for your writers thing?" Well, it would make sense if they had if it was the same writer for all three shows, but it's three different writers' rooms.
Yeah.
So it's coming out of three different writers' rooms. So it's something that is intentionally being placed there by Marvel. And I think we're going to find out why as these go on and as the MCU continues.
Yeah. So,
well, and the love is the dagger, just real quickly, the love is the dagger speech of both of their opinions about love. Right there is the lesson that these two characters have to learn.
Yeah.
Is that is not the case.
Yeah. So Blythe, give us the last word on this scene before we move on to them getting captured.
So this scene was weird for me because when it's B-15 and Morbius are there looking at the timeline and they're searching for them, and they see the Nexus event, and he's like, have you seen a Nexus event like this? Did they fix everything?
No.
Are we sure of that?
No, but we don't see.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, it's weird that what Sylvie did at the RoxCon place it doesn't seem to be, and maybe it'll be brought up like in the final episodes, but it doesn't seem to be an issue anymore. They're more concerned with catching up with these two Lokis than fixing a multiverse event that happened. And from what they've shown us of these timelines is that they don't stop veering off. And once they hit that red line, there's no changing them back. So you would think there'd be something with them wanting to go and prune all these aspects of
Issues,
time before they hit the red line.
Maybe they think it's a self-cleaning issue if they can just get rid of the variants because it is an apocalypse.
I'd buy into
So
that.
maybe in their heads they think
Maybe.
it's taken care of as long as they pull the variants out. I'm sure that is not what the case will be as far as the result they're looking for, but I could see them like going, "We got it, it's done," because it's a self-cleaning situation.
Or maybe the
Mhm.
wizard is realizing it's not about a sacred timeline. If there's a mission, there's a reason I'm doing it. It has nothing to do with the sacred timeline.
Well, I was also going to say, we can get in this a little bit later with what comes up. Maybe the sacred timeline doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Everything
be.
else about the TVA is a lie.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't that part
Who's
be?
to say the whole story about the sacred timeline it's fabrication?
Miss Minutes is in control. It's all her.
And then I'm happy with everything. But we didn't
No,
see
they
her
killed
today,
Miss
and that made me
Minutes.
sad.
Didn't you see it?
Shut your dirty pie hole.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
not
they
talking to
killed
you
her.
anymore.
She's
I'm
dead.
not talking to you anymore. Okay. So scene 5, the capture. I feel like Mobius actually feels genuinely betrayed by Loki. You didn't see that before. I mean, before he was expecting it. When he went through that portal, he was genuinely felt betrayed. He thought that he had a connection with Loki. And I think he probably did. And that's the only reason why he hesitated for a second.
Well, he straight up later calls him a friend.
Yeah.
He says, "I'm betrayed by a friend." So
Mhm.
at some point, and that was the one thing too, I think we kind of miss out on because it's a show like this. Who knows how long they spent together? By the second episode, Loki's at his
could have been
desk.
years.
He's chilling. Oh yeah, it could have been a long time that they had been working together to find the variant Loki that they were searching for. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think I like the color coding. If it's a red portal, it's not a real timeline. It is a prison. It's a loop.
It's a time loop.
Similar to Doctor Strange when they did the loop with
Dormammu fight.
Dormammu. I
The
think
Dormammu, yeah.
it's the same thing. So red means it's more of a prison than a timeline itself, I think. And last thing I'm going to say on this, and then you guys can rip this scene apart. The incident with Sif, with what's going on with the cutting hair, you look in the Norse mythology, that is the direct occurrence to and it happened to Freya, not Sif. But when that happened, it led to the creation of the Mjolnir. So I think that's kind of I don't know if that they meant that on purpose, but that is how the Mjolnir was created because of that incident with Loki trying to save his butt on that.
I'm sure they stuck that in there as a little Easter egg for sure.
Yeah, for dorks like me. So
Yay,
what?
Sif.
Well, you have to wonder if they're going to change since they even say it was supposed to be Freya. Remember, Loki even said, "Well, it was supposed to be Freya."
Oh,
So it makes you wonder if
So
they're
they're-
going to come back and fix it somehow.
so they're on a different universe than we are.
I
Because
think he said it was supposed to be fun.
Oh, I heard
I don't
Freya.
think I don't think he says. I'll
I'm
have to go
gonna
back and look.
rewatch it.
You're
But
gonna
I'm
have to
pretty
look at it because I really
I
heard
think
Freya.
he said
you
it
did
was
that- if he
supposed to
did-
be fun.
that adds a whole new.
Well, no,
new-
he did say it was. He did say something like it was because I did it because I thought it would be fun when he was being all
Yeah.
contrite. But he did at some point say it something along the lines of it wasn't supposed to be you. It was supposed to be Freya.
I'll have to go back and watch
because
because
that
I don't
actually
recall
caught
that.
my ear. Yeah.
I don't recall
Which-
that. I must have missed that.
And maybe that's
Go
why he's
back
the
and-
variant. I don't know. Wow. Oh
If
my
that's
gosh.
true, it really blows up the timeline a lot because then that means that either they have him in the wrong loop or he's not the Loki from our timeline. He's a Loki from another timeline. That's crazy to think about
Yeah.
We're gonna have to go back and double check that, but I'm pretty sure that's because it did. I caught it. And I'm not steeped in it, but
That's interesting. That's very
we shall
interesting.
see.
Anything else we want to talk about on this before we go back to Ravona's office for the first time?
Yay,
Well, I mean,
Sif.
this is the first instance where Loki is telling Mobius that there's something going on. He's saying the TVA is lying to you. So
Mhm.
this is that first moment where, you know, and he's sincerely saying it, and Mobius is just kind of at this point just blowing it off. So I think that's something to keep in mind too. This is the first time
Yeah.
that he brings it up.
And can we give a nice welcome back to Jamie Alexander as Sif? She's been gone for a couple of movies. Didn't even show up when the rest of the Warriors 3 was
that
killed.
was stupid. But she was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. for an
She was
episode.
in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, she's an angel. They're apparently going to address where Sif was during Ragnarok in the next Thor movie, because everybody's like, where was she when Asgard got bloated up?
Girl got her own TV show. She was.
Yeah, that's
She
what
should.
it really was. But yeah, that's what it was.
Before she ages out, they need to give her a TV show. Well, that's not being mean. It's just like, you know, these guys, they have a certain time frame that they
We
can
know
do this.
how TV works.
Yes, I'm a jerk.
Sadly.
Okay, so scene 6,
Sadly.
Ravona's office. I didn't get much on this as far as my notes go. What did you guys get from the first time in Ravona's office when Mobius is definitely feeling like, yeah, something bad's going on?
Well, she obviously doesn't want him to talk to Sylvie.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, it's like huge, like, and she's playing it off. She's doing the whole giggly, like, what do you mean? Like, no, you're not, you know, you're not, you deal with Loki. You don't need to talk to Sylvie. You know, it's just, if it was me, I would start getting suspicious at that point too. Like, why are you so?
Which I think he does. He definitely
does.
Yeah.
You can see him sort of like.
Yeah, he's like, this is weird. Like,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But this is also where she comes up with the with saying, you know, we've both seen the end of the universe. We don't have friendships like this. Don't usually exist like yours and mine. And that might have something to do with it too, because he trusts. Apparently, they have a deep friendship that isn't portrayed on screen very well. But
I think they have a sexual history. Is the vibe that I've been getting off of them. Interesting. Not getting that off of him and Sylvie, but getting it off of those two. For some reason.
Yeah,
It's a little awkward. It is. It's kind of like a weird.
It has a little bit of an X, like an X.
Yeah, it's a weird thing.
You know, kind of feel to it.
Yeah.
One thing I picked up on in that scene, he signs the papers and he looks at the pen again, and it's the same pen that is from the Franklin D. Roosevelt High School that we see in the first episode.
And again, he's putting stuff together that we don't even
yeah.
have yet.
And so I wonder, since Ravonna likes to keep trophies from the variants that she captures, I wonder if that pen doesn't belong to him in his previous life. I wonder if he was a teacher.
He was a teacher, yeah.
Dude.
Yeah, I wonder if he was a teacher, and I wonder if he taught at Franklin D. Roosevelt, and it's just her way. And I could be just reading way into it, but I mean, he legitimately looks at it again. I mean, it's not where he signs it and he's been directed to just put the pen down. He signs it and he looks at it again and then puts it down on the paperwork. So we're supposed to see him reacting to this pen 2 times. I wonder if that's the trophy she took from him.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure.
That's interesting.
She is a Gen 1 time police, because she's A. She's A 25 or 24. And then you have B15 and then C20. So she's definitely one of the first that were there.
Which means she probably had seen the variants turn in.
Yeah, and I mean, nothing may ever happen of that, but I thought it was something that I caught when I was watching. I'm like, okay, we're looking at the same pen, and it's visibly the same pen, and he makes a point of looking at it. So I think maybe that's the trophy she took from him.
Yeah,
Interesting
makes
take
sense.
on it. Okay, so let's go on to scene 7, Loki back to interrogation. I think it's interesting that Loki is such a liar that when he tells the truth, it comes across as a lie, but when he lies, it comes across as the truth. I think that's
He's the
kind of
god of
important to his
mischief.
character. Yeah, I think that's interesting. Yeah.
Or is it just with Mobius?
I don't know.
He
Thor
seems to
bought it a
he
couple of
seems to
times,
believe him
too.
more.
Yeah.
Huh?
Thor bought it a couple of times too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Frigg is the only one I think that didn't ever fall for it.
Yeah, she's too smart.
This one,
As
this scene was
she
cute.
says,
Yeah,
she's the wisest person in Asgard. So.
This scene was cute too because he kind of Mobius has the realization as he's talking to him where he's like, "You like her," and it, that was cute.
It was fun.
And I think that's what that's where I take all my beliefs on. The same that being in love with I guess your variant could break the timeline, and I think that's what this was.
See,
trying
and
to say.
I think they did that. I think that's a red herring. I think they put his they
don't do red
had
herrings.
Mobius never
like
I think they had Mobius have that suspicion so that when they reveal that it is indeed not a romantic relationship, that we have to remember that they craft everything in this, and I think they're crafting for the twist.
Yeah,
and it's one that we might see, but be okay with seeing. You know what I mean? Sometimes that's just as fun to see it coming.
And then I think that as soon as Loki told him about the kidnapping, Mobius knew at that moment. You look in his eyes, and he knows he's telling the truth.
Yeah,
he's fighting himself because he doesn't want to believe that. But you look in his eyes, and he knew at that moment he's telling the exact truth.
And it's like we just said, he already had inklings that there was some shady business going with the TVA. And in that moment, he's like, yep, that's it. That's everything that I thought could have been wrong. And that's the scenario that is the worst. So,
yeah. Okay, so let's move on. Scene 8, back to Ravona's office. This is everything's done. Yay. I feel this is a theory. I feel like when she was asking if he could go anywhere, she's planning on giving him an out. I think that she does not. I think that she does have a special relationship with him, and that she knows that he's gonna have to go somewhere. So that could be where he goes. I feel like she's asking him for an out. Where would you go? That's what I felt.
I took it as more malicious. I think she asked him that to see if he's remembering who he was. I think she's testing him when she says that to see if he's still as clueless about what we know the TVA is truly about now. And Mobius is smart enough to not give her anything.
Yeah.
And he doesn't know who he is. He also doesn't know who he is.
Well, and she's playing on his emotions this entire scene. She's lying to him. She's playing on his emotions. I think if they do have a genuine or had a genuine friendship, whatever she's doing in the background here is above that friendship for her. So she's on like the manipulative trail. I don't know if she's trying to protect him or what she's doing, but I don't think she was like, hey, tell me where you want to go because I'm going to surprise you and send you there. Like, I think
Ravona's bad. I don't think she's evil. If that
you don't
makes
have
sense.
to be evil to be malicious and manipulative.
To want to go kill your friend, yeah, you got to be kind of evil. I think she's in a bad situation.
I don't think she has friends.
So on what Courtney just said about her like trying to feel him out to see how much he knows, that tracks with what you were thinking with C20, because she did the same thing with C20. They were questioning her, and as soon as C20 started bringing up that she saw this other life and had all these things, I'm with you on this one, Dub. I think that she's dead, and I think that's why, because she figured out that and if that's the same thing that she was trying to do with Morbius, then she's got no love for him. She is ready to axe him if he slips up and
Yeah.
figures out what they're doing.
See, I like both of your theories. I in the sense of I can absolutely see her fishing to find out what is it that he remembers.
Mhm.
But they do have a history, and if we go with my theory that these people are not actually destroyed, maybe she knows that he screwed up so bad with Loki that he has to be eliminated. But since when you get disintegrated, you actually get sent somewhere to a holding zone, because like Loki, we'll get into that, but like maybe there's a Mobius holding zone, and maybe she has the option, because remember they introduced that prison is a looped memory.
Yeah.
So it's possible that she's like, I'm gonna have to axe you, but let me see if I can at least do this one last thing for you and send you somewhere that you will enjoy.
Rather than put you on a jet ski for the rest of your trip.
Exactly. So I think, I mean, in my mind, the both of your theories are not mutually exclusive. It'll be neat to see who's right.
This is this is what's fun with these. It's like, because it could go either way. It's not nothing's too set in stone.
Yeah,
I think she's definitely being manipulated, though. I
yes.
can see.
She is.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
so.
Oh, I
you know, and
completely agree.
I'm gonna
There's
die
something
on the hill.
else.
I'm gonna die on the
pulling the
hill that
strings.
I think that Kang is pulling the strings. I'm gonna die on that hill. I died on a hill last time, but this the hill I die on. I think it's Kang, and I think that he is with her pulling the strings.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you,
Are
Michelle.
you going to yell freedom at the end?
There's something in the background, and we'll talk about it when we get to the part that I made Dub wait for. But there's something else, something big and bad pulling all of the strings to this whole thing.
Yep.
And whether Ravonna is
see, now you get mad at me, but okay.
It's Wanda. It's
No,
Wanda. Wanda's in charge of all of this.
From her,
she already broke
cabin.
the timeline.
That's Doctor
She's going to finish
Wanda,
everything else.
Wanda is Mephisto.
Stop. Okay, moving on. We gotta. Okay. Scene 9. B-15 goes back to Alabama. New theory. And this is all I have on this scene, but I think she is a variant. She's a variant of the SHIELD agent that is raising Deadpool's daughter named Emily Preston.
Which attaches to nothing else in the MCU.
Nothing else, but it looks like her in the comic books, and I think that just kind of makes me very, very happy. And like they could pull Deadpool.
So
I feel you reaching
like B-15 now?
Huh? No, I still don't like her. I didn't like her. I don't like her in Deadpool. No, I'm not reaching.
He's just trying to get Marvel's ideas on how to pull Deadpool into this universe.
I know.
Yes.
I know.
I don't have to pay me, just give me Deadpool.
It didn't work with Mephisto, so he's going with Deadpool now.
Now it's Deadpool.
Oh, dear.
And I swear, so when I saw this scene, I was like, this is her redemption. This is her revelation. This is her, like, now seeing what's going on. And now she's, she's not having it. And so my first thought, I swear, was like, I wonder what Dub thinks of her now. Like, I was just
still don't like her.
I shouldn't have had that much faith.
Instead of taking all that in, he's like, Deadpool?
Hey, I have a mind that can actually think about stuff. It's cool.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Because the rest of us are just talking.
Think about things in Illusion Land. Anyways.
Okay, get over it. Okay, scene 10. Mobius learns the truth. There's a lot in this scene they're not telling you. Yeah, I think that they spend hours before they actually go through the portal, not minutes. So I think they have a whole plan worked out. I think that we're going to see more of it. I don't think Mobius is dead. I think it was probably a projection that was killed, not Mobius. Okay, so scene 10.
And that's where I dropped my phone.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that's where my shock scene was. Yep.
Yeah, me too.
Wasn't when later on it's here. I went.
It never even dawned on me that it could be anything but a projection from Loki.
No, I'm not even talking about that. It was the fact that
I think it's real.
How
He
can
got
be a projection from
disintegrated.
Loki?
Yeah. I
So
think he's real because remember, Loki's magic does not work at the TVA. So how can he be a projection from Loki?
That's why I'm asking. I don't get the logic there.
The collar is on. I actually thought something too, and I went back
Yeah.
and I watched because I figured maybe the Mobius had turned the collar off, but the collar's on, so his magic doesn't work. So I thought originally maybe it would have been, but nope.
But it wouldn't anyway.
Nope. It goes with
it just didn't
my
work.
theory. He was
Yeah, no.
sent somewhere.
And I wanted to
On a
bring
jet
this up
ski.
in
On a jet ski.
episode when we did episode 2 when they're in Ravona's office and she was saying all the stuff about her like secret, the person that Dub thinks is Kang. I originally thought that she was alluding to there was more than one of him,
Mm-hmm.
and that
That's
kind
a
of brought me back
Cool
to this.
theory.
Is that there's more than one, and there has been in the past more than one Mobius that's worked at the TVA.
I like that theory.
If they're all
works.
variants, that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Just like we're getting multiple Lokis, who's to say we're not going to get multiple?
Yeah,
Mobius?
that was the Mobius that kicks puppies. That's the one we don't like.
Yeah, we don't
I
want
like
that
that theory, Blaze. That's
We
a
want the
good
one
theory.
that
That's pretty
hugs
good,
puppies.
Mobius
actually.
would never kick a puppy.
That one did, so you can feel
one
okay
did.
about it.
The
You
jet
let
ski
it.
loving, puppy kicking Mobius.
What else?
Got what he
Whatever. Yep.
Okay, scene 11. Did you guys have something you want to hit on that real quick before we moved on?
Nope.
No,
Okay.
it's not
Scene-
important.
Puppies.
Scene 11, finally meeting the timekeepers.
Did anybody else have to put on freaking subtitles because the
Yes.
effects?
For the mustache one?
Yes.
Come on! It
What?
was like
Those look-
Charlie freaking Brown there.
Okay.
I was dying.
The keepers look like bad versions.
Do not say it.
It does. They look like
It-
the bad version of the bad Green Lantern movie. They look exactly like the Guardians. And no, it's not the same. They look the exact same.
And
I
they
was
looked
not
fake.
happy with that.
Yo,
They
they
do-
looked fake.
They
They're
look
did.
the same.
supposed to.
Did they?
They look-
yeah,
Yeah.
they're supposed to.
Yeah, it looked like Chuck E. Cheese pup.
The one.
Yes.
They
The
did.
one. Do you guys remember the movie Return from Oz?
Certainly do. Oh my god, they look like the scarecrow with the barrel. The
TikTok.
barrel
Yeah, it
dude.
looks like TikTok.
Yes.
The one with the mustache reminding me of
Yes.
TikTok. I'm sorry. That's just sorry.
Yeah.
They still look infinitely better than the Guardians and the Green Lantern movie.
Anyway,
Yeep.
let's see. I think that Ravonna knows exactly why Sylvie was put as a
Heck
variant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course she
Heck
does.
yeah.
And I hate
It's
that
in
about her.
It's in her face when she says, "I don't remember." She doesn't say it straight faced and
Yeah.
truthful. She smirks like a Cheshire cat. She absolutely remembers, but she knows that it will. By saying "I don't remember" to Sylvie, she's basically digging into her, letting Sylvie know that she doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Even though we know she does, but I mean, it's another way for Ravonna to manipulate and hurt someone.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Ravonna knows everything.
Yeah.
I think we said this in episode 1 or episode 2. She knows everything. She knows everything about the Time Masters. She knew that. She knows about Sylvie. She is essentially the one pulling the strings, and
Yeah.
whether that be for Dub's theory of it being King or that she
No,
is
everyone's theory of it being king. But yeah.
Dub's theory.
Dub's theory.
Upstairs.
But yeah, she knows everything.
Yeah.
She's the one. She's the puppet master.
Absolutely.
I would just like to point out that Michelle was right in the last episode about this entire scene.
Now, see,
Yay,
when I say that,
Michelle.
y'all get mad at me, but it's all good.
I'm cuter than you, so it's fine.
Oh, dear God. Okay, I didn't see the twist. I did not see it coming when they were fake. When you saw them moving around, you did, but I didn't going in. I was like, oh, so there really is going to be 3 of them, and I'm like, oh, I didn't see it until he chopped the head off. I was like, interesting.
They were so
really?
fake looking. I couldn't put my finger on it, but
Yeah.
I was like, they're not it. They're not
It's like
it.
the
It
Hall
felt
of
different.
Presidents of Disney World.
Yes.
Yeah, it was that. It was that moment where I'm like, no.
Welcome
no.
to the Hall of Presidents.
Welcome to the TVA.
That's what he was saying in that first scene.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But then the head came off and I'm like, victory. I was right.
Yes.
It is Oz behind the curtain. And I think I may
Yes.
have thrown like something in
Yes.
celebration.
It's King. So, yeah.
But Ravonna is still answering to someone else because
Oh yeah.
there is still a higher power. But it's it's a total Wizard of Oz moment.
Yeah.
So
now, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. So I know we're gonna get to what were you gonna touch on next? Sorry.
Oh no, go ahead.
No, I know we're gonna get to the next part. So after the head comes off, right? And everyone starts getting into it. Is that what
that's where we're going
for?
next. Yeah.
Okay. Did anyone notice? Well, did anyone notice that Ravonna kind of just seemed, I don't know, something seemed weird about this entire.
Okay, can I see what you're saying, and I want to hit this, but I don't know if this is like we talked about with the Courtney hit this when they had the fight with I Need a Hero, how weak the fight scenes are in this movie and the show, and I don't know if it's just weak fighting or if they're just she was just genuinely detached from it as a character, but this fight scene was terrible. And this is my only complaint, but it feels like it's been this way. I don't know if it's just a bad choreographer or what's going on. But
well, I did think it was kind of weird when Sylvie like got up and walked away from Ravonna. Like I can justify her not disintegrating Ravonna because there's probably a part of her that knows that Ravonna was lying, and so she does want to find out you know what I mean. She's got information that she needs, but she turned her back on her.
Yeah,
and that is something that seemed really out of character for Sylvie. So that was I think that there was a little bit of a misstep on the show's part.
And it seemed like Ravonna, when she said do it, when she was holding it next to her, it almost seemed like she really actually wanted her to do it. Like she had this look on her face like it would just be a relief for her or something. So
because she knows she's not going to die, she's going to be sent to somewhere cool that she's already set up.
Or the string puller is like, she can't take it anymore because of Mobius. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Or maybe it wouldn't work on her. We don't know yet.
It's a bad relationship that she wants to get out of.
Yeah.
Which we'll get more. One way or the other, I'll get into this later. Okay. Loki getting killed left me completely speechless.
That was a shock.
I did not see that coming.
Even though I had my theory, did not see that coming. Did not see that coming.
I think what made it worse. Oh, sorry. Just what made it worse was that he was about to have this un-Loki like heartfelt, moment, and it was just like it's heartbreaking anyway to watch that happen to him, and then that was just awful. Sorry, Courtney. Go ahead.
Courtney, go ahead.
Oh no, it's okay. It's okay. I think for me that it didn't. This shock was that they actually did do the killing of him, because I thought he was going to be able to get away. But we've seen Loki die so many times.
True.
And also we know that Tom Hiddleston is in this 6 episodes and he's not going anywhere. So I was like, all right, where is he?
Yeah.
Where is he?
Yeah.
Because this SOB has died so many. I can't cry for him dying anymore. They killed me the last time in Endgame, and I'm like, no, I've seen you come back 12 times now. I'm okay. You're not dead. You're not dead. It's okay. That's where I was with
the
it.
Loki that cried wolf. Okay.
Right.
But it still was a great moment. It was still an unexpected moment.
Agreed. And I agree with Michelle that the impact of it is because he was making an actual connection with someone else.
Yeah.
We get a little bit of that between him and Thor in Ragnarok, but this is even more so.
When it happened, I thought the show was going the path of this is her story, not his story.
Like they
Yeah.
were full
Yeah.
on replacing Tom Hiddleston
Mhm.
in the MCU as Loki.
Yeah.
That did occur to me. Yeah.
Yeah, I would have been done at that point.
You gotta get out.
How dare you?
Hiddles
Now-
or bust, baby.
Now, but before we go into the post credit, now during the credits, I've mentioned before, if you watch, they change one or two things during the credit scene, during the ending credit scene. Now, and this even makes even more sense because if he doesn't have any magic, there is a scene, and it's for about a second that they flash on like the spreadsheets and all that other stuff. There is a scene that flashes that it goes over a machine that says holographic projector. I'm just saying.
Okay.
It could be, yeah. Courtney didn't agree with me on that one, but that's
Okay,
what I've seen
I
on
didn't
that.
agree with you because when I asked you if it was in the credits or if it was on the set, you said in the credits, and I thought you meant listed as something in the
okay,
credits.
I'm sorry.
So I literally watched the credits trying to find who did the job of holographic projector.
Okay, well now it makes sense. Now it makes sense, right?
What's weird is that we actually live in a world where that could be a thing. Yo.
It
Right.
really could. Okay,
So
and we're going a little over time, so let's jump on this. The post-credit scene, which made us all, we're in a good world again. Because honestly, if we didn't have this post-credit scene, I would have a completely different reaction to this entire episode. So we pop up. Loki's not dead. Now we have boastful Loki. We have original comic Loki.
classic Loki.
We have Kid Loki, and we have Alligator Loki. Or is it
Alligator
crocodile?
Loki was my
It's a Komodo
favorite.
dragon. I went back and
Komodo
looked.
dragon.
It's a Komodo dragon Loki.
It's a Loki
that's
dragon.
a crocodile.
No, it's a
Alligator.
Komodo dragon.
Alligator.
I will put money on it that's a crocodile.
I'm putting
Okay,
money on
Komodo
Does it look
alligator.
like a
dragon.
croc because it's got the long snout?
Yeah, that's a croc. It ain't a Komodo.
We need
Come
to
Learn your
ask,
lizards,
Okay.
Courtney.
we need to ask Tyler on the show,
Well,
and
I
he'll tell
don't
us about it.
think crocodiles and alligators are lizards, though. So you need to learn your genuses first.
Whatever.
How are you deciding it was a lizard? It just cuz it's
'Cause I said
green.
Komodo dragon.
So
It's like
Doesn't look like a
Loki.
Komodo dragon. A Komodo
yeah,
dragon
I
has
give
a
you the.
short
It goes by
head.
so fast.
It's a Loki gator.
And the most important thing that I actually noticed is they're in a dystopian. Is that how you say it? Dystopian New
Dystopian.
York
Dystopian.
City, because behind classic Loki, who is Richard E. Grant, by the way,
which is this guy right here, by the way.
behind
That's the Loki I
classic
grew up with.
Loki is the destroyed Avengers Tower.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
I'm
did not
getting it
catch
in.
that.
So
I'm getting it in.
okay,
All right, but it's
last
still an alligator.
this is the last thing where
I could be
everyone
wrong
give me your
about-
theory
I
on what's going on in this.
Fully admit.
Do it quick. So as we're out of time. Okay, go ahead, Michelle. You got something on deck.
Just really quick, it goes back to my beginning theory about the branch and how powerful it was, and now I'm thinking, oh my gosh, like, okay, is Sylvie going to show up? Because at some point, are they going to prune her? Is she going to show up with the other Lokis? And then it's going to be like a Loki gang, and they're going to start snapping, and
A
you know,
roving
they're
gang
gonna-
of Lokis.
And is this gonna be the connection and the grouping that will take the TVA down
Maybe.
with the alligator?
So tell me, what do you got? What's your theory
It's
on
very
this?
it's very into the Spider-Verse. You've already heard my theory. This is
Okay.
this is the TVA prison. This is where they send when people get disintegrated. What I don't know is what I kind of got from this is that maybe all the Lokis get sent to the same place, and all the whatever variant of that version, they all get sort of sent to the same spot. But I think this is a holding cell.
Fair enough. I'm still not ready to buy into if they get killed, they move there. I think that Loki got pulled there by the other Lokis. And
I told you that last night.
we discussed this. And I also think
Stop
that
I'd be open to that.
that Sylvie has been with these people. She's been with these people a lot, and she does not like them, and that's why don't call me a Loki. I think that's why
She
that could-
called herself
She's-
a Loki in scene 4.
She does call herself a Loki, but
But-
she's trying to avoid that because she does not like these other Lokis.
But maybe she was referring to herself as a Loki, as a family
As
surname.
a family instead of
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Blythe.
I'm interested to see the world that they're in, because, like you said, destroyed Avengers Tower in the background. So, what timeline is this? This could be the introduction of Kang. This could be a future in which he beats the Avengers. So we'll see that. But I think we're going to get Endgame on your left moment with Sylvie and the other Loki.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
She's going to get into some trouble, and then some doors are going to open up, and you're just going to see one by one, including Crocodile Loki, just walk through these doors. And Kid Loki, another Young Avenger. So another Young Avenger in our roster.
Which makes more
Young
sense
Avenger.
than Sylvie.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
He would make more sense than Sylvie for sure.
He's little Loki.
And Courtney.
Everybody's kind of touched on what I thought as well, but I think it's going to be a roving gang of Lokis, as Michelle said. I think Loki is the key to everything, and we have to remember the most important thing is Loki is the god of mischief. So where do these branches come from that cause these Nexus events? Loki's. So yeah, I mean, but I do. And I mean, it's possible. I like Blaze's theory that this New York could be where Kang defeats the Avengers. It also could be a timeline where the Avengers don't stop the Chitauri. And that is where Loki reigns supreme, and it's not what he thought it was going to be.
That's interesting.
So I mean, there's an option. So yeah, but and like I said, well, like Dub said, because he heard me say it last night. I do think he was probably pulled there by the other Lokis, because they have to, one Loki is powerful. Two together, we see in the Loki Sylvie scene where the branch happens. Two together is more powerful. What happens if we get a roving gang, as Michelle has suggested, together? How much power is that going to have on the sacred timeline?
Okay, and I wanted to make sure no one else was going to say this, because I didn't know if anybody else would have this theory, but I don't have any evidence to support this, but I think maybe original
Deadpool?
Loki. No, I think the original Loki is the one that could be really pulling the strings, and he's pulling a Highlander. There can only be one, and that's why they're only going after all the Lokis. It's probably not true, but that's just my fun theory.
You just want Richard E. Grant to be bad, because he's so good at it.
Okay, now you guys can literally answer. You have one word to answer. Give me your grade for this week. Courtney.
B+.
Bryce.
A as always.
Michelle.
A.
Satomi.
This was an A for me.
It's an A- for me. Outstanding show. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Check out the website www.iheartgeekshow.com. Use the code. We paid extra for it.
Yay!
If you want to comment on our iTunes page, that helps a lot, or whatever your pod catcher is. And then send us a picture of it, and we'll make sure you get a sticker or something. And go to our Patreon, go to Facebook, Twitter, Discord, Instagram, and Reddit, and whatever else we have.
Everywhere.
And
ask questions and stuff, and give input. Things.
Yes. That helps a lot, especially on the YouTube. Like, subscribe. Okay, I'm sorry for having to go through all that. And until next time, I'm Dub. I'm here with Courtney and Satomi and Blythe and Michelle. Keep on geeking on, guys. We'll see you next week.
It was an alligator.
We forgot to mention the vampires.
You have been listening to the latest episode of the iHeart Geek Show. Make sure you visit our website at www.iheartgeekshow.com. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And if you check us out on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And keep on geeking on to all of you geek rock stars.